What is going on, everybody? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, late night edition. We are live here. It is March, I don't even know what date it is, the 15th going into the 16th of 2017. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you for, of course, being part of my live Facebook. This is where we're going to go over some of the astrology going on right now, some other topics. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. There's some interesting energy. There's a lot going on, but at the same time, it's the smaller things they want to cover today that are going to go kind of in the astrology world, I think, surpassed, that I think are much more important to talk about than the bigger things that are happening. Of course, if we're going to talk about a little bit about the bigger things that are happening across the zodiac, but there's some other things that, I don't see anybody talking about it. So I thought I would put it out there and be that guy to put it out there and see what's going on. Now, one cool thing about this show, if you've never been on my live show, is we are actually live here in the studio. And I do like to take a look at the chat. So, if you're on iPhone, if you're on iPad or whatever, if you're on the Facebook app, I'll be taking a look at the chat the whole time, seeing what's going on with people. Wow, for late night, it's not bad. We got a couple hundred people already going on in here. So it'll be a good show tonight. Got a couple slides for us to see tonight. Got some charts for us to see. Gonna be a good time. Hope everybody's doing well. I know it's a little bit of weirdness when you come to the end of Pisces. It could be a little bit sluggish. But you know what? I'm going to show everybody why this end of Pisces is not your average end of Pisces. How are we going to start this? What did I name this? I think I named it something. I don't know. There was a lot of things that I covered, but let's just go straight into the chart and see what's going on. Show you guys what I got going on here. So I'm doing this chart for the 16th of March, okay? 10 in the morning, California time. So if you're already on the other side of the world, this isn't that moment, but you know what I mean? It's like this is when things are going to get really interesting. I put that the sun is in a weird spot right now. Okay, the sun is at 26 degrees of Pisces. We can see clearly right now. And why is this weird? Well, number one, Saturn's at 27 at the galactic center point in Sagittarius. So we're going to have the sun square Saturn start on Friday and finish on Friday. It's actually Thursday, Friday is the square. I always believe that after a square happens, it's over. The other weird aspect that's in between all this stuff is that Saturn, or the sun, was on top of Chiron, right? So the sun's been in kind of a weird zone. It's in between this Chiron-Saturn square. It's covering the in-between space, because if you were to extend Saturn's 27-degree reach to 27 and put it right there of Pisces, technically the sun is in between that space. So it's a very weird space for Saturn to be, and it's a very weird space for the sun to be, because of the fact that this is the galactic center point, they call it in astrology, which to me is always, of course, in between Capricorn and Sagittarius. So Saturn's sitting at this spot holding space, and we're about to have a Sun-Saturn square, which in astrology is never like the funnest of transits, and especially as a Leo, right? It's like, oh gosh, gotta talk to the old man, gotta talk to the hermit card, gotta talk to the dude about how we're gonna be more responsible and how we're gonna grow up and what are the challenges. But you know what? We just had Mercury go through here a week ago. And to be honest with you, it wasn't too depressing for me, at least. I mean, I kind of found my way through. But Mercury was also going at full speed. If you notice Mercury this week, it's going to conjunct Venus. So there's a positive aspect happening while this sun is going to try and or square Saturn. So there's a positive aspect happening this week. What I think is the most interesting with this sun square Saturn is it's about perception. Because what rules Sagittarius? Jupiter. What rules Pisces? Jupiter and Neptune. Okay? And Jupiter and Neptune are the rulers of your perception. They're the rulers of your belief. They're the ruler of your spirituality, your belief structures. And so to have a sun square Saturn in mutable signs is not as physically hard as a typical Saturn square. This is going to be dealing with the challenges you deal with in your beliefs, your sensitivities, your struggles inside of deniability of your own talent and skills, especially because we have North Node in Virgo, Mars in Taurus, which of course we can see here in the chart. There's a lot of this trying to get on top of your belief structure in the right way, trying to get on top of your perception in the right way. That is so important, especially as, Mars is trining the North Node, and we've got Jupiter, which is done with its opposition for now of Uranus, as they're going in separation spots. But we're at a time in life that we really need to focus on our skills, our talents, and our self-worth, and know our value. The reason why, not only because of Mars being in Taurus, but because of this Venus retrograde with Mercury coming on top at the same time that the Sun will square Saturn in this weird space. We are going to have a very unique and rare look, as Venus is going backwards, and here comes Mercury, and they come and slam right into each other, literally like this, like... And Mercury and Venus are really good friends, They are extremely good friends. They're positive. They're both in Aries. They're both at the first sign, the first part of Aries, which it'll be kind of interesting, actually. I got to find it. I always like to show this aspect of Aries, but there's so many pictures I have on my iPad, but I'll bring it up. This is a positive zone in the zodiac. This is a very, very good zone in the zodiac. This is a very positive zone. So to have the Sun square Saturn in a very positive aspect with the moon, which will be in Scorpio, it's not going to be the easiest of Sun square Saturns of all time, but I'm not predicting that it's going to be as harsh as you realize, because Saturn is in Sagittarius, Sun is in Pisces. It's about learning, you're not at the end of your rope. There's always an option. There's always a way out of every challenge. There's always a way through everything. And putting your perception in the right place is extremely important. It is probably the most important thing that anybody could pay attention to. So here, this is what I wanted to show you is the first degrees of Aries, right? Where Mercury and Venus are going to meet up is going to be right here at the 8th degree, 9th degree, right there of Aries, and that's Venus ruled Cancer, Mars, Sun, Jupiter, right? Look at this, and it rules jaundice, okay, in health, but it's not actually on the 8th degree. So the truth is it's in a very good zone. It's in a very positive zone. So this is going to be very positive for communicating with people, communicating with relationships, knowing your worth, knowing what you want in your life, knowing your value, giving yourself the courage to do it, feeling good. It's in a feminine energy too, as well. If you notice, this is a feminine ruled spot. So it's a feminine ruled Aries aspect. It's much more of like the goat, or not the goat, the ram in its much more feminine sense of the ram. And I think that what you're going to realize through what we're about to see here through this coming into this weekend is we got to push through our own inner stuff, but there's people around us, there's old relationships, there's karmic relationships, there's our self-worth on the line that is going to help us push us through, to grow up, to grow wiser, to push us and realize that we can manifest anything. There's a lot of good stuff going on in the manifesting world right now with Mars. There is a lot of positive things going on in the world right now if you feel it deep inside of yourself. But you know what? It always gets the bad rap, the end of Pisces. Because if you look at the end of a chart, right, it rules bleeding, depression, the last degree of Pisces, low blood pressure, eczema, Bright's disease, gout. It's not a very fun zone, especially Saturn rules the last couple degrees. Good thing it's happening at 27, which is Mars. But if you notice, Mars and Saturn are malefics in astrology, which means they're not the funnest planets. They're challenging planets. They make you stronger. And if you see that the last degrees of Pisces are very intense there, especially when they deal with the lower end of the zodiac, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius. It's not like it's the easiest of zones to deal with, and it's double moon. It's very emotional. It's a very emotional degree. So you got to realize that this is the end of the year astrologically, okay? That what we're coming into on Monday, the 20th, is the beginning of the new year astrologically, the true new year in the world. This is also, the crossing into the spring, the crossing of the Lamb, the end of Lent, the Passover that's coming up, right? And it's because we leave the zone of this kind of darker, deeper, intense emotional place and we move into the bright Jupiter-filled Sun, Jupiter, masculine, bright light that's moving forward in the world, right? That's what's happening. And this weekend with the Sun square Saturn at the galactic center point, it's actually also saying if you're going to get on your destiny, you got to get rid of a lot of your insecurities about yourself, especially that there's a lot of Mars and Taurus, especially because of this Mercury on top of Venus and Aries. You're going to have to own your shit. You're going to have to put your money where your mouth is about your life. You know, you can't sit back. See, the problem in the astrology right now is this, and I'll show you guys. Oh, well, here. All right, let me get back to this. This is the problem in the astrology right now. And it's not a bad thing, but what it is this is the issue I think with people that they're going on in life that's happening in their life, okay? And I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to wake you guys up to something here. All right. The sun's going to enter into Aries on Monday, okay? So that's 0 Aries. Look at all the stuff forward of the sun right now, okay? Here's the sun right here, right? Let's make that a little bit clearer. Here's the sun right here, okay? It's in Pisces. Look at the train in front of it. Mars is leading the pack where it likes to lead, right? Mars doesn't like to be behind the sun. Mars doesn't like to be behind anybody. Mars always wants to be in forward. So you know what? This is a very rare position in life to be in. As the sun is going to enter Aries on Monday, we still will have Mercury in front. Venus will still be in front. Uranus in front. Mars in front. And now the train is in a really positive position. Plus, the sun will pass Saturn. It will be out of Chiron's grip. And this train right here is going to be rolling forward and very positive, bright light energy. So we are coming into, folks, especially with this manifesting of the Virgo energy, the trine, the Earth that the moon is going to come into on the equinox day. Have you guys looked at the equinox day yet in your astrology yet? Like, it is pretty awesome. Let's take a look at it real quick. So right when the equinox happens on Monday, look at this. Look at the train. Mars is forward. Mercury and Venus are done with their aspect. Moon is going to be on Saturn. It's a very powerful time. And then the moon, if you watch this. The moon is going to square the sun exactly at the 0 degree Aries spot. So this is a year that's coming into our lives all about truly reaching our goals, truly reaching our great ambitions, truly reaching everywhere we've really wanted to go in our life, and really having to believe. This is a huge belief time in yourself. Here's my truth. We very rarely get springtime, new year in astrology like this with forward momentum like this. Even though Venus is retrograde, it's retrograding in a very interesting spot to me. It's retrograding in a spot that has to deal with the endings and new beginnings. And there's a lot of that going around right now. There's a lot of this kind of end story, really exciting new beginnings starting, and manifesting big and powerful things that you want to manifest right now. There's a lot of positivity, but the only thing that cuts that positivity off is you and your own worry, and it's irrational worry. It's worried about bullshit sensitivities you have in yourself, and it's time to stop that. It really is. It's time to get rid of that energy in your life. It's time to really see that on this big day that's coming up here on Monday, and as if we go back to what we see here And here's the just the charts for today, right? Like, okay, right? Like this is, we are ready to get through the end of this Pisces with a big square to the galactic center. Like, what is your purpose on this planet? Why did you come down here? Are you going to waddle and cry and say, I can't do it and I don't believe it, and stay stuck in the structures of old traditions in life, which are being asked to be ended? The truth is if you want to really make your dreams possible, I would take the most untraditional route. I've said this in like a million of my presentations. I've said this across the country when I meet people in person. You know, Pluto is in Capricorn. The traditional road does not work. I'm sorry to say. This doesn't work. Doing what's traditional about it is just like, wah. This is about a future that you define the way that you define it. And believing in yourself, believing in your... This is a calling now in the universe to those that know they were brought here for a reason. Believe it or not, there's people who believe that they were not brought here for a reason. They actually believe that they're an anomaly. They believe that they're just some random form of evolution that just ended up here on the planet randomly, and you're just a random anomaly. I'm sorry to say you're not random. You're perfectly synced in a world that you were perfectly meant to be here. And this is the calling this week. Whether you're going to step into that and own that and believe in that or not. And it's actually more, it's that subtle. It's not as hard of a thing than you think it is. The astrology is not in a complicated, hard, like physically demanding, I can't do this. The universe, I mean, I'll show you again. Mars is leading the trail, folks, in Taurus, ready to manifest. Whoop, whoop. This is your own bullshit of yourself not believing in yourself, your own sensitivities, your own delusional beliefs about yourself. Now, granted, yeah, maybe there might be some people who are delusional about what they can really get accomplished in the world. I'll give you the other half of that coin and show you that. But for the most part, you know what? And those are the people, if they're stuck in the traditional route, you know, I'm going to school and I'm doing the way that every lawyer has become a lawyer, and I'm going to do every way that every doctor becomes a doctor. And then they get there and then they go, oh man, you know, that's not what actually represents what I am. I have to actually prove my skills. I need to show my uniqueness. I need to show why I'm great. You know, I do a lot of clients with people who did the traditional route, went to school, spent 8 extra years after high school doing the college, getting their doctorate, getting their master's, doing all this stuff, right? Then they get there, and with Uranus and Aries, it's like, I need to find my power. I need to find my courage. I need to, you know, it's like there's an aspect to this chart that, and where the astrology is right now for the world globally, it's like you got to like believe in your own life. You need to believe in your own stuff. It's not on a piece of paper. I mean, not to bring up politics or anything, but it's like, if that dude can become the president during this astrological time, how come you can't become anything else you want to be? If Donald Trump can become the effing president of the United States, how come you can't become anything that you want to be? I mean, literally. If that dude can do that, I think that you have to take a deep look at yourself and realize you need to believe, you know, this is going to be the last year of Aries with Uranus fully. The last year. Next year, Uranus comes into Taurus. And with all this Aries that's about to come in, and with all this Aries that's happening, and with all this Aries that is going on, you really 100% have to trust in your own way. You have to trust in your own way of doing things. And the traditional way of doing life is not going to give you anything. Now, planning is an important thing, and keeping responsibility with your life and doing those things, of course. It's like there are traditions that are in place that are important. But right now, this is whether or not you're going to step up and believe or not. Whether you're going to let your sensitivities take you down or not. Whether you're going to step up to the plate or not. Whether you're going to continue to just get up every morning and slide through life and kind of chill out and, take your time about things. And I think it's important to take your time, but I'm talking about those people who just don't really believe, don't have any energy behind them, are a little just lost, confused. I understand that everybody's uniqueness is different. That, some people in their charts, I'll see it. It's like they have a hard time defining what they want in their life or who they should be. But you know what? This is a time in your life where, what you should be, what you're called to be, you've got to have a deep connection with God. God's got to give you a deep answer. You got to follow that intuition that tells you where there's a huge smile on your face. It wasn't like there was my high school teacher who said, you should be an astrologer, man, and create this thing called the Leo King. Sorry, they did not have that anywhere in the world, But everything I knew in my soul, my body, and my achingness of my persona knew I had to follow my true heart, what I want to be, no matter how untraditional it might be, no matter how crazy it might be. It's even hard. Lately, I've been DJing at the clubs and I've been playing different music. I've been playing new future house. I've been playing harder. I've been playing, I'm an underground funky deep house DJ. Mark Farina, Miguel Miggs, Ohm Records, yo. But I moved and changed with the times and it's done wonders for me. I play in front of 1,000+ people now at a time. Not 100 people in a warehouse or in a little gig. I followed what I felt in my heart instead of feeling oh God, the underground's going to think I'm a sellout or the underground's going to think I'm not whatever. Fuck that shit. I'm going to do what my heart feels. I like this music. This feels good when I'm up there on stage playing that. You got to look at your own life and see where are you going where it's oh, well, I shouldn't do that because blah, 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 blah. Or, oh my gosh, well, you're in your own delusional bullshit. It's this is what the snap out is. This is what the Aries Venus retrograde is. The redefinition of your identity without letting traditions hold you back from it, but learning how to use traditions for your advantage. Once you do things that are untraditional and go a way that is untraditional, using the skills, using the way that most people accomplish things it's you've got to get through the barriers of life. You've got to get through the barriers of what you feel like people won't like or what you feel like people might not respect in you or whatever it is. But do what you know is divinely called to you and believe that shit 100%. That is what this Saturn at the galactic center point is. And it's no irony that it's going to stop and retrograde at 27 degrees, okay, on April 6th. It's just no coincidence. And I guarantee you, whatever you're doing on April 6th through the 8th, 9th, is karmic destiny to the road of where you should go. Okay? That is the marker point. That is the street sign where you take it. Wherever it's in your life right now, look at your chart, look at your life, look at your calendar. I dropped the pen. Look at it and see. This is it, folks. It's coming fast. I mean, today's already the 15th, 16th, coming on the 17th. April 6th, 7th, 8th, around the corner. Wherever that's leading you is going, and you know what? That might not be exactly what it is, but that is the beginning marker of this whole new destined story of where you should be going, and you got to follow it. You got to follow it. And right now is where you build up the belief for that. Right now is where you build up the belief to that story, 100%. So what do people got to say in the chat room right now? What do we got going on in the chat room right now? Somebody said their birthday's on April 6th. Congratulations. What a solar return for you. Somebody said, what up, my double Leo brother? Double Leo's for the win. That's right. Done with the sun sign crap. You know, it's funny that you bring that up, Cameron. When I record my horoscopes on the app, the one horoscopes I don't like to do are the sun sign ones. I don't like to do them. I'll be honest. I do them just because that's what they expect out of astrologers. Like, okay, I do a sun sign horoscope, right? I mean, I've been pushing the whole collective conscious horoscope forever, just for that all people, we're all connected, and that's the deal, right? I've been preaching that one since the beginning. But there's something about me that, I still got to do the sun sign stuff, but I think eventually it'll phase itself out. The sun sign horoscope stuff's so bland. There's some fun stuff in there, but the collective conscious horoscope is what I'm much more connected to and much more, wanting to do. So we had a question in here from Jade Sun. Can you talk a little bit about past lives returning and how to handle it? Ooh, that's a good question. Past lives returning and how to handle it. I think it's always important whenever you deal with a past life lover that you realize, well, what is the purpose of that person? I'm actually going to be doing a seminar and a live stream on April 2nd with this awesome girl, Anna. We're putting it out next week, and we're going to be talking about the past and remembrance. And I'll talk about this for a quick second here. Remembrance. Like, have you ever seen The Notebook when he's got to read the story back to his wife and she's got dementia, and the only way that she can remember who she is she needs to hear the story. She needs to actually hear it again. And when she hears it again, oh, I remember. And then everybody cries. There's something about past life or past relationships that come back into our life to remember either why it doesn't work and why it's so shitty, why, and if you want to go deep spiritually in past life karma and stuff, like why that person was deeply connected with you. If you look at the synastry, you look at the composite chart, how it's affecting you in your life now, what kind of transits you're going in, and what do they represent. To be honest with you, I do relationship readings where I cover all that. It's a very hard thing to not know what the relationship is or anything, but they are there for remembrance. And that remembrance is what brings consciousness in a very powerful way. It helps you have a better projection of where you're going to take your future, remember what not to do, remember what you learned. It's kind of a master's test. And it's one thing about remembrance is so important is that when you move forward into the future, that it's never perfect. You always are going to have to go back and remember things so you stay on track, Because sometimes we get so caught up in the future, we get so caught up in the now, we get so caught up in the things that, our past is our reflection. Our past is for me, I've got like a couple scratches on my truck, right? I've had it a year, and even though it's brand new, it's like I know where every little scratch is on it, and what not to do. Every truck I have has a scratch. I've had a scratch on it. You would never know it, but, I know all the little dings on it. Past relationships are like, where are the little dings in my soul and how I relate? Because all relationships are just a reflection of who we are. So it's like, where do I do this ding weird? Where is this weird scratch that I always have happen to me? And how do I avoid that? And I think that's what they help us remember. I think they also bring positive aspects and kind of can push us into energy that is much better for us when it comes to maybe empowering us in certain ways, because they know who we are. They know our best skills. They could be good for reassuring us in other ways. And then, of course, there's the other part of the story, which could be is not good. This is not what I like to do. So it's a very good question, but there's a lot of angles to that question as well. So. Good question, though. Not a bad one. Oh, Deborah's like, Anna Naturalista. Yeah, that's who it is. We're going to be doing something next week, bringing it out. I'm really excited. I'll talk about it real quick. I mean, we're going to be doing this awesome live stream. And also, if you're in the LA, Orange County, or San Diego area, because it's down in San Diego, we're going to be doing this like actual day where we're gonna be talking about remembrance and karma and the Akashic record. And I'm going to connect it with astrology. She's going to do it with all of her skill sets. And we're going to do this awesome thing. It's going to be very affordable. It's going to be fun. It's going to be an all-day thing. It's going to be an awesome seminar. And it's going to be a way to kick off the new season and the new year and knowing with remembrance. And it's very much connected with Venus retrograde going back into Pisces, which we'll be talking about more in the future here. But especially during that April 2nd time, I'll be talking about it a lot. So I'll be bringing out that information next week. No problem, Cameron. Thanks. It was a good question, brother. Thank you very much. Katie Wise asked, could that be why exes visit us in our dreams? You know, I don't have a lot of exes visit me in my dreams once I've cleared my karma with them. Like once I've actually done the work, I've cleared it. I've been like, you know what? You're out of my life. Like we're done. I've done my own ceremonies. I've asked God to clear the energy. I've connected with the new love. I've you know, like when I connected with my fiance, there was a lot of clearing I had to do. There was a lot of cord cutting I had to do. There was a lot of like deleting text messages, deleting Facebook stuff, you know, clearing the air. There were some girls that I had kind of dated or whatever that were just like, you know, like on and off for years or whatever. And it was like, hey, I'm moving forward in a new relationship. I need to, you know, end it with you. It's like some people keep a lot of things open-ended in this day and age, right? Especially with Tinder and social apps and a lot of that stuff. I think it's so important when it comes to relationships. Like if you're going to move forward in a new relationship with somebody, like you don't leave it open-ended. You actually don't, you have to have the courage to tell the person like, hey, this is the boundary line. We're not crossing that anymore. I'm doing this. We could be friends, of course. Might be a little difficult, but you know, if you need me, weird shit, hit me up. But I'm spending my life in this direction. And usually people get the clue, and usually what happens. And then you know what happens is the exes don't come back. If you have an ex still reoccurring in your dream all the time, well, then you have some karma that you haven't fully dealt with there. Or that person and that energy is so extremely karmically connected to you and so embedded so deep in your subconscious that there are some extreme things that were around that relationship and around that energy that you still are working through in your life right now. Like reoccurring dreams. Reoccurring dreams for me, like, are when I have a reoccurring dream that I'm back at my 9 to 5 all the time. At the same 9 to 5, the boat dealership down at Huntington Beach, Action Boats down the beach. And we went out of business, right? So it's like I went through the whole business at its peak to its middle, to its fall, to losing the business, to where, you know, I got let go. And I helped like sell all the boat parts and help sell boats and help, you know, clear this place out. But I have these dreams that I always go back. I have these dreams that I'm back at the lot. And it's like weird because it's like, we're going to start working there again. And then, or I have dreams where I'm like, I gotta keep this 9 to 5. Even though I make a lot of money at my other job, I got to keep this 9 to 5 to stay secure, safe, or whatever. So it's like I still have something subconsciously dealing with work and 9 to 5s and day-to-day reality that, like, you know, it was so embedded in my subconscious that if I wasn't at work from 9 to 5, there was a problem. I remember when I went on unemployment and I lost my job in 2008 during the financial crisis. I was in the car industry because the boat industry fell, and then we went into the car industry, right? It was like I had this really weird moment in my life where I was like, holy shit, it feels weird not being at work. I remember there was like 3 weeks where like, and I used to smoke weed back then. I don't smoke weed anymore, but I remember I'd smoke and I'd be like, oh my God, it's too much. I'm doing something wrong. You know, it's bad. It's bad. I should be at work. There's something wrong. Or it's like, oh, I need to be getting a job. Or I remember like my mom would call me like, so like you're just on unemployment. Are you gonna like go find a job? You know, and there's like people are like, oh, you know, people are kind of hounding you like, so you're on unemployment, huh? You're just gonna just sit around and do nothing? Well, for me, I decided to build an astrology business and a DJ career. That's what I did, and it paid off to this now. So I got to thank my unemployment, and I didn't go back to a 9 to 5. I tried one more 9 to 5 In 2012, I did a picture of it like 3 months ago or 2 months ago. It popped back up. I worked at a yacht company and I sold yacht excursions and private planes. I did it for 1 month. Hated it. Left. Started this. So my point is though that reoccurring dreams, whether they're a relationship, whether they're a job, whether they're anything in life, is a subconscious trigger that you have not fully dealt with, or they are really wrapped in your subconscious extremely, and you still got to work that out, and you're still working it out in some sort of way or fashion. Good question, though, Katie. Thank you. So many questions. I do got to go here in a second. It's so funny. People are saying, F the 9 to 5, man. You know, when you own your own business, 9 to 5s are nice because at least you know you're off. There's no such thing like me. I'm here and it's, 11? It's 11:20, 2. I'm working. You know what I mean? So the whole 9 to 5 thing isn't a bad thing. 9 to 5 kind of gives you a good thing. What's your take on twin flame energies, soulmates, karmic relationships? Good question, Braylon. I actually did a video on YouTube. You can look it up, the Leo King soulmates, Leo King twin flames. I'm going to be very honest with you about twin flames. I don't know. It's like it's a very controversial subject. I think that everybody is unique and everybody's relationship aspects are unique. I think that there are some souls that came here just purely for relationships, like love and romance and that twin flame thing. And then there's people that came here to kind of do other things. Like to me, my twin flame is my guides. One of my guides. But I think that they're both of my guides. I have 2 guides. But it's like my twins are out of this reality. They're what guide me through this reality to do the things to help others. Like that's my story. For other people, they might physically see it this life, or they might have a friend that's their twin flame, or they might have a lover. But I think that people can get so caught up. The weirdest part about twin flames is, this is going to be my 5th year doing the Leo King and daily horoscopes every day. And so I've got thousands of videos out there, over 4,000 videos now. So people watch me for a while and then they think that I'm their twin flame. And I've gotten that. And you can ask David Hauser. If David Hauser's in here, okay, I've had hundreds of girls and men tell me I'm their twin flame. Right? And totally believe that they're in love with me. You're my twin. Like, tell me that I'm their twin. Like, I had one weekend where I was at a conference and I met all the people and I had 3 girls in the same day tell me, you're my twin flame, you're my twin flame, you're my twin flame. So when that happened, I was like, this whole twin flame thing's a little bit kind of bullshitty. I'm not saying it is. I don't know if it's right or wrong or true or not. But you know what? When you have over 100 people in emails trying to FaceTime you, Skype you, message you, and they all say they're your twin flame. I mean, damn, I must have had some past life where I was like a baller or something, like some pimp daddy up on a castle with like 100 twin flames or something. I doubt that. Highly. Unless I've lived so many fucking lives, right? That it's like, oh my God, like maybe I hooked up with 1,000 people over thousands of different years or something. And they're all just coming back to live their, see, I believe in soulmates. I believe in soul contracts. I'm much more into the soulmate thing than the twin flame thing. I think that souls come back for us to work out karma and then we're done and then we move on. Like that's more of how I look at it. The twin flame thing is, I think, a very good way for a lot of spiritual fucking mojo people to get $150 for you for a reading to tell you that they have found your twin flame and your twin flame's coming to make you feel real good and cozy and feel like you're going to have teddy bears and hearts flowing every day. And this is coming from a double Leo that you know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's my own version of it, you know? Somebody just said I have a twin harem. That's pretty funny. But so, oh great. Now people in the room are telling me that I'm their twin flame. Wonderful. Now let's just add you to the list of, okay, hold on here. You know. That's the whole thing is I think some of the twin thing can kind of be a little bit of a, especially during this Pisces transit of Neptune, it's like delusions of self, delusions of relationships, delusions of what we think about people. Like, I keep a journal, right? And in this journal, it's everything that sorry guys, we're going all over with the cameras here. Here we go. In this journal, I've recorded over the last 4 years so many things that I've done in my life. Whether I went on a date, how I felt about the date, personal things in my life when life was going shitty and it wasn't going right and it wasn't feeling good or whatever, right? So I've like my journal like has everything, right? Has a bunch of like the bad times, the good times. But I was reading it like 2 or 3 weeks ago, right before my fiance came back, because she doesn't have an American visa yet, so we have to go back and forth, to see each other until we get married or whatever, and we get approved. So, but what's interesting is when I looked at my journal, and I was reading about this one chick I dated for like a week or whatever, and it was like I remember I was like really I was kind of into this chick, and like I kind of was delusional about it a little bit, and then like about how I perceived her and what I thought, and like I'm the kind of person who can kind of fall in love kind of quick, so it's like maybe I was like, oh man, like maybe I'm like really into this, and then like I had to catch myself and go, I had to like look at her and look at her situation and like tap into it, and I was like, whoa, I'm getting caught up in this thing, and like this thing is not what it seems to be. I had to kind of like pull out of the entrancement of it. We can get really like wrapped up in love and romance and all that stuff. And I think live with an open heart, as much as possible. That's how I've always believed is like I fucking live with my heart wide open, like woof. And it's caused me to go through relationships that have failed. I've had some gnarly breakups before and a lot of things like that. But at the end of the day, in that journal, it made me realize like, holy cow, like I was delusional about that. And so I think when it comes to twin flames and soulmates and all that stuff, it's like time. There's something about time. Like there, especially when you're in a position like me where you meet a lot of people and a lot of women especially, right? So it's like, you get a lot of girls kind of like, hey, and they flirt with you or whatever, and you're kind of like, oh, okay. And it's like, all right, well, yeah, I don't know you, I don't know what's the situation. And I'm not going to believe because I met you and we had a great connection on the first day that you're my twin or that you're my soulmate or that we had a past life love together. Like that takes a little bit more time. I like to see like time. I like to see like, oh, you came back around a month later. Oh, it's been 2 months now. Oh shit, the universe is putting us together again. Oh my gosh. And then, and then it's happening again. It's kind of like when you have it to where it like doesn't leave and it just keeps surrounding you in natural life, because I think that with social media, like with me, these people think I'm their twin flame because it's like I'm in their fucking face every day because I got the Leo King app or something, or they see my fucking post every day on fucking Facebook. So it's like simple. It's like, oh my God, he's in my world every day. But it's like, yeah, of course, you have the app and I'm like subscribed. You should subscribe to me on Facebook and I push more shit on the internet than like 99% of people. So yeah, of course, you're going to feel like I'm in your head every day or your space every day. But it's like, when it comes to reality, though, like I think social media has created the BS twin effect, where it's like, like because I've seen you and I had this feeling that overcame me. You have to realize that our senses and the way that we feel about people can really like trigger us in a way, especially if we see a picture of a girl or a guy, whoever, whatever you like, right? like I have a certain kind of girl I like. So if I saw that before I got engaged, when I would see a picture like that, I'd be like, oh my gosh, look at this. This is like totally what I'm looking for. And then, you go a little bit down the line and you search a little bit about them and then you talk to them or something and you go, oh wait, I'm backing out the other way. Whoop, whoop. But there's that day or two, when you're like looking at them or like I used to be on Tinder and I used to do all that stuff. So, I'd be like, oh yeah, like, you like get all excited real quick and then like you get there and then it's like, oh wait. And then you start kind of like, oh, I don't know, this isn't feeling right and whatever. So, I think that, the internet is like a way for us that we are kind of getting entranced because the Neptune rules the media and it rules pictures and all that stuff. Like a picture can actually fool us about people, That's why, like, back in the old days, it was like, did you carry a picture of your woman as you're going across the plains? It was like, look I have a picture. Even in the 70s, it was like, they'd pull out their fat wallet and be like, they had the picture thing. It was like, this is my child. Look at this picture. And even though it's an old picture, it takes you to a magical place, right? And so, now that the internet is flooded with video and picture and right? And you're just like smacked in your face. It's messing with your delusional aspects of your heart. It's messing with your delusional aspects of your emotional world and how you take on people in relationships and so forth. And I think that this is an interesting way of how Venus in retrograde is happening right now and how Venus is in retrograde about to come into Pisces, which is that space, and then square Saturn, which means there's going to be a lot of people who believe this shit's going to go happen in relationships the way that they think they are. And then with Saturn squaring there, it's going to be like, no, sorry. People are starting to take the delusional aspect of relationships to a higher level in the next 2-3 weeks. Like to the highest level. And then Saturn's going to be kind of there squaring at me like, well, is it really part of your long-term destiny or not? It's really going to come up very big. All relationships are going to be into that as well. So, thanks for that, Michaela. Well, it looks like I'm going to go. I'm tired. I got to go edit the videos for the app. And believe it or not, I'm going out to Lake Havasu this weekend. That's why I'm doing this right now. I got to go race the jet ski, practice, do a lot of racing, tune the ski. It's going to be hot out there. It's going to be a lot of work. So, and I'm going to spend some time with family. So I've been having to get all my work done early. But anyways, thanks for joining me tonight. It was awesome. Hope that I answered a lot of questions about what's going on in the astrology right now, what to get through this week, and how when we get to Monday, it's going to be a big thing. So make sure that you get the Leo King app. If you want to watch me every day and you want to be on the app, it's only $5.99 a month. That is it. And you get videos every day. I cover every day. I cover all 12 zodiac signs. I cover notifications on your phone. I cover astro gossip, different aspects. It's crazy how much is covered on there. Weekly intuitive, weekly tarot, daily tarot. There's a lot going on in that thing for $5.99 a month. And the weekly uncut, which I'm sure you guys miss if you're not on the app. I also brought my reading rates down. So if you want to book a reading, I did book a bunch of readings up, but we still got some reading dates available. If you look through the times, you got to go through the times and the dates, but I got some April, May dates still available. So if you want to book a reading, I brought the rates down. Go to inclusiveastrology.com to get a reading with me, and we'll go into your chart and I'll tell you what's going on, especially with all this Venus retrograde stuff coming up. Anyway, thanks for all the support. I truly appreciate it. I am sending you all my best, and I will talk to you all later. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you guys somewhere on the internet. You guys will actually see a bunch of pictures of me and doing stupid stuff out in Lake Havasu. So if you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, see you guys on there. Later.
The Leo King app is the world's first and leading video and notification astrology horoscope app for iPhone, Android, and computer. Get daily spiritual videos and addictingly accurate notifications alongside weekly sun sign horoscopes, tarot videos, and exciting new age entertainment videos by celebrity astrologer and TV personality David Palmer, the Leo King. Join today. You have nothing to lose with a 7-day free trial and wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.
Wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.